Hey, Brad, let me take a minute and talk to you about general aviation. Skyways was started back in 1965. And if you're a pilot and you want to make a landing at an airport, there's certain technical information that you must have, like airport diagrams and radio frequencies and things of that sort. And up till now, we got most of this information out of manuals about the size of phone books. If you ever saw a pilot for TWA or United or whatever walking to the airplane through the airport, you would see he carried a big black briefcase that's about 2 feet tall and about 3 feet long. And that carried all the books and all the government charts in it, which is required to be on board on commercial airliners. And we found that it was quite inconvenient, and we've been complaining about it for years to have to go through so many books and find out. So here's what Skyway did. We put all the pilots' needs on the front of our guides, and then we printed a separate flight guide and a regional directory page for every city. And that way the regional directory page would fit inside the actual book. These books here were called Jeffersons. So that directory page would fit right in there. And then you don't have to be a pilot to see why they caught on. It's just a lot more convenient to put our flight guide in your shirt pocket and refer to it rather than searching through the manuals each time. And what we did is it's required by law that a pilot must pick up the phone and call the government and tell them you're leaving position A to go to position B, or location A to location B, and that's where our directories were, right there next to the phone. We called and filed your flight plan before you left. And all I had to do was just pull out the Orlando guide, and I had all the information I needed. And it's the distribution that really made the media work. In general aviation, we don't have any in-flight magazines like they do in commercial aviation. So what we were able to do is we put the guides in a display rack right in the flight planning room of each airport. So if we were flying to Orlando, when I reach and call for the weather, our display's right there. And here's what the pilots do with the flight guides. They actually make their own directory of the airports they fly to most frequently. So we provided plastic sleeves and a book where they could actually put the airports in the sleeves and use them over and over and collect them. Except for our media, you really can't get in front of the general aviation traveler before he gets here. So what we would do is we would plug your guide into 40 airports that your city gets the majority of its traffic from. Now, what we did on the inside of this guide is very unique. We only place messages from companies like yours that are endorsed by the fixed base operator. In other words, we don't really sell advertising unless you are recommended or endorsed by the airport or by the jet center or the gas station. You're not allowed to be into the directory because we're looking for people that strictly supported people that own their own airplanes and people that own their own jets. Then the pilots and the general aviation public, you may not know this, but we're kind of a very fraternal group. We kind of support the ones who support our industry, so to speak. So if I was flying into an airport, I would call ahead because we don't have in-flight magazines and just ask the airport, hey, where's the best place to stay? And the executives relied heavily on our recommendations as a pilot. I'm a pilot. For example, if I were flying you here, there's no way in the course of the flight you would not ask me, hey, where do you stay? Where do you eat? Or where's the action? Or where are you putting us up at? Or where do you got to set up to eat at? Because a pilot technically was the concierge. The actual secretaries at the corporations didn't make the reservation. It was up to the pilot because everything was done last minute. It wasn't planned like a vacation, a year in advance. In fact, with the transport cutting the expenses, the corporate pilots are responsible for not only accommodations, but limos, rental cars, etc. So your ad is telling these people who fly that your business supports and wants a general aviation business. Advertising in a media that is used over and over and over for a year produces tremendous benefits. This way we end up with an exclusive few who want to support, who want to and support general aviation as a whole.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's back from the 1980s. That's an old presentation flip chart that I found from the 80s. I just thought I would save it, put it on the YouTube. That way we'd have it for later, just for discussion. But Really interesting. We have all new color PowerPoints and things like that. We'll be putting up there next. Thanks. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I see you're here. Yeah, appreciate it. Go ahead and send me the private message. I'll take care of it directly. Thanks. Have a great day.